let's restart the video. Alright, this is Katie Britt. She's gonna tell herself, she's a senator from Alabama, which, if you know anything about Alabama, they are very, very strong about their familial ties and their eugenics. We'll get into that, but bear with me on this. This is, woo boy. Okay, we'll just jump into it. I have no better way to do it than just to jump in head first.
Good evening, America. My name is Katie Britt, and I have the honor of serving the people of the great state of Alabama in the United States Senate. However, that's not the job that matters most. I am a proud wife and mom.
Oh, there you go.
Two school-aged kids. My daughter Bennett and my son Richard.
So clearly, her priorities aren't even in the Senate. They're in being a mom. So, you can't tell. I've kind of cropped everything a little bit, but she's right where she belongs, in the kitchen. So that's good for her. But I'm surprised her husband is not backhanding her for speaking out of term.
Or why I ran for the Senate. I'm worried about their future and the future of children in every corner of our nation. And that's why I invited you to our home tonight. Like so many families across America, my husband Wesley and I just watched President Biden's State of the Union address from our living room. And what we saw was the performance of a permanent politician.
Permanent politician? You sure? Because in order for Biden to become a politician, he had to win an election, and then every election cycle from that point on, he had to, get the votes again and run and do everything. That doesn't sound very permanent. That sounds like a very impermanent position. Now, if you're talking about permanent, I have two examples of how you can become a permanent politician. First, you can commit high treason and overthrow the government, like Palpatine did in the prequel series, or like Trump did on January 6th. Both of those, should they succeed, end up with the same result, a dictator in a permanent position. Or, there's an easier way, you can actually run and become a justice, because justices, their term is up when they die, so they're permanent. Yeah, they're permanently in position, and they just have nothing to challenge them and their actions. I think that's pretty messed up, don't you think? I think that's something we should address in our government, is the corruption of our judicial system, the justices. What is with that? That's right. Back to the video.
He has actually been in office for longer than I've been alive.
That
One thing
good
is
sign of
quite
good politic.
clear, though.
Good
President
politic.
Biden just doesn't get it. He's out of touch. Under his administration, families are worse off. Our communities are less safe, and our country is less secure.
Everything you just said was incorrect. Families aren't worse off than they were before. You could make the argument that they're not better off, maybe, but you'd have to come up with a lot of evidence for that. The country being less secure, I don't know about that, Chief. Our military doesn't seem to be failing. Seems to be doing just fine. We're still selling tons of weapons and making a lot of money, and the military takes up a ton of our budget, so that I don't see any problems there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just wish he understood what real families are facing around kitchen tables just like this one.
Real families?
This is where our family has tough conversations. It's where we make hard decisions. It's where we share the good, the bad, and the ugly of our days. It's where we laugh together. And it's where we hold each other's hands and pray for God's guidance. And many nights, to be honest, it's where Wesley and I worry. I know we're not alone. And so tonight, the American family needs to have a tough conversation. Because the truth is, we're all worried about the future of our nation. The country we know and love seems to be slipping away, and it feels like the next generation will have fewer opportunities and less freedoms than we did. I worry my own children may not even get a shot at living their American dreams.
Right. Okay, so there's a good point. You're right. My generation doesn't have the opportunities that your generation did. But that's not because of one person, in this case, Biden, failing. That's the entire government system failing. That is because corporations have monopolized. And the government denies monopolies because they're illegal, partly. But also because they're bribed very heavily. That's how you get your money to run in a lot of cases, especially if you're a Republican. You get those bribes and you cover your friends that give you the bribes. Yeah, that's the reason your kids don't have a chance at their American dreams, because they can't afford to have them. It's impossible. The economy doesn't support dreams anymore. Sorry.
My American dream allowed me, the daughter of two small business owners from rural Enterprise, Alabama, to be elected to the United States Senate at the age of 40. Growing up, sweeping the floor at my dad's hardware store and cleaning the bathroom in my dance studio, I never could have imagined what my story would entail.
I can. Considering she's over 40 and looks like that, people who, and I'm not saying this for everyone, but I'm saying in this case especially, and there are cases that this is true, this is a trophy wife. There are women who do advertise themselves as trophy wives. This would be a trophy wife. She's gonna look pretty and say yes honey and make sandwiches in the kitchen, which is what she wants to do. That's what she trained herself to do. And in some cases there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a very traditional view on life. Good on her, achieving her dream as a trophy wife. I don't know why she's in Senate. If she wanted to be a trophy wife, she's got her dream job right there. She doesn't have to lift a finger. She doesn't have to break a nail. As you heard, her two worst jobs were, jobs. I think those were her parents or whoever made her do some work, but sweeping the floor and cleaning the bathroom, that's trophy wife training right there. That really is. So it just fits right in. She's never had a job before. She's never had a real job before. Yeah. That's a trophy wife. That she's like cookie cutter trophy wife. And in this economy, we don't have room for them. Most of us can't afford trophy wives because we have to be able to afford to live. You see, the economy the housing market has a lot of problems, especially with renting. So our generation can't afford a house, and if we can, not really, because you have to pay double the price of the house to outbid the rental companies that have monopolies in your area. So, unless you're willing to pay 200% of that house's value or build your own place, you can't afford a house. You're going to be homeless, or live with your parents. And you have to have, in order to have like an apartment, you have to have your income and a significant other, a second person's income going into that apartment in order to pay your monthly expenses. So she's got a dream job right there, trophy wife, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna hold it. I'm not holding it against her. It's just she's a trophy wife.
To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation in just one lifetime. It's truly breathtaking.
Also, if you have someone who makes a lot of money, like your husband, so her circumstances put her in a really good spot.
But right now, the American dream has turned into a nightmare for so many families.
Did you just wake up and realize? Oh, welcome to the club. Yeah, we've been in quite a trench for a while. Welcome to the club.
The true, unvarnished state of our union begins and ends with this. Our families are hurting. Our country can do better.
Okay. How? So far you've given me, let's see, hang on, let me check my notes. I got notes here somewhere. Let's see, check my notes. Nope, not there. Hold on. This maybe the newspaper article. No, that doesn't have anything of that. No, I don't see anything. Can you give me some solution or some idea of how to make America better? In your eyes, in your perspective, any solid ideas, solid proof, anything?
And you don't have to look any further than the crisis at our southern border to see it.
Okay. So what you're saying is America is failing because the southern border, like all of America, is completely failing because the southern border. That's our problem? Are you sure about that? Oh boy. Yeah. That no. No.
President Biden inherited the most secure border of all time.
No, he didn't. He inherited a massive problem, which he inherited and Trump inherited and so on and so forth for a while. Yeah.
But minutes after taking office, he suspended all deportations, he halted construction of the border wall, and he announced a plan to give amnesty to millions.
Yeah. He stopped people from He basically shut the border down, like, because it's overwhelmed. So we could look at it and go, okay, what's happened here, and let's fix it. That's the first step, isn't it? Admitting something's wrong. Isn't that the first step to, like, solving a problem, is admitting there's something wrong, and then you stop doing the same thing to make a change?
We know that President Biden didn't just create this border crisis. He invited it.
To say, oh my god. To say Biden created the border crisis and invited it is the most, I don't even know what to say. Like, there's not, I don't even have a response to that. Remember when Trump was talking about the border problem? If Trump was trying to solve the border problem, how does Biden create the problem? Are you a time traveler? You know, that would make sense. If she traveled from, like, the 1940s, from World War II era, like, atomic family style living, that would make a lot of sense. Although it still wouldn't mean Biden created the border problem, because it was there before him, and it was there before Trump, and it was there before, like, what are you getting at? That's incorrect. Straight up.
With 94 executive actions in his first 100 days. When I took office, I took a different approach. I traveled to the Del Rio sector of Texas. That's where I spoke to a woman who shared her story with me. She had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12. She told me not just that she was raped every day, but how many times a day she was raped. The cartels put her on a mattress in a shoebox of a room, and they sent men through that door over and over again for hours and hours on end. We wouldn't be okay with this happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America, and it is past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it.
Your opinion? I'm just saying. I'm like, with how she wants American families to act, her opinion doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. She should shut up. I'm gonna point that out every time. Right. But that's not the point. Cartel sex trafficking, it happens, but there's also gang sex trafficking in the U.S. That's very prevalent, and we don't do anything about that, and it's a much bigger problem than cartel sex trafficking because it's in the U.S. and not, right? I'm surprised she even cares. This woman, I'm curious if she sees her as human. Because we're talking about eugenics here, in some instances. Because remember when she said, our families, our communities, our country? Well, Mexico's not our country. It's something clearly beneath us. So if this woman isn't American, is she even human? Is she even worth talking to? Except for to try to drive your agenda? You know, Biden's trying to get a bipartisan bill, though, that would fix the problems caused by Trump. Um, Trump building literal concentration camps. Trump built concentration camps and backlogged the system so no one could be processed in or out of the system. And Biden's got a bipartisan bill that would clean the system. That would get these millions of people processed. And again, it doesn't matter whether they're rejected or accepted, processed, so that we're not dealing with this, so that we can deal with the illegals inside that came in illegally, so we can deal with the people crossing the border illegally. You know what doesn't help? Shutting the entire border down and building a wall. That doesn't help. They'll dig trenches. They'll go under the wall. You know drones? They can carry stuff. Yeah. I don't think your wall goes up to space. I don't think your wall goes into the ocean and stops boats. I don't think you can cover everything. You can't. The wall is a waste of money. Increased border security is nice, but unless you turn the United States-Mexico border to a North-South Korea DMZ with landmines and literal, guard posts to shoot anyone that you see on site. That's a lot of money, by the way. A lot of people to be just positioned out there for no reason other than to kill everyone they see on site.
President Biden's border policies are a disgrace. This crisis is despicable. And the truth is, it is almost entirely preventable.
Again, bipartisan bill. Biden didn't write it. He'd be the one that has the final say on it. Unless he, for some reason, rejects it, and then it'd go back to the floors, and if they actually have a majority vote, then it can pass without him. But the point is, he didn't write that bill. And he's not the main player in that bill. It's not his bill. But we do want to get it to him so he can, help the border, help Americans and help future Americans who come in legally. Because isn't that America's purpose? Isn't our purpose to be a shining beacon for everyone to look at and go, wow, and we defend people? Not turn our backs to them and shut them out and say they're subhuman, they're less than us.
From fentanyl poisonings to horrific murders, there are empty chairs tonight at kitchen tables just like this one because of President Biden's senseless border policies.
Again, not sinless. It's not his. It's not senseless. You have both Republicans and Democrats voting on it. Yes, for it. Not. I mean, everyone's voting on it, but you have both sides voting yes for it. Clearly, it's not senseless. Please actually get a grip. if you're going to be a senator, if you're going to try to be.
Just think about Lake and Riley.
You mean my friend who died? Yeah. What about her?
In my neighboring state of Georgia, this beautiful 22-year-old nursing student went out on a job alone. But she never got the opportunity to return home. She was brutally murdered by one of the millions of illegal border crossers President Biden chose to release into our community.
Firstly, and I'm going to say this with the absolute most, respect, do not use my friends as a means to push your political viewpoints on anyone. They did not ask for you to turn them into your political motivation. For you to do that is an absolute disrespect to their memory. And you do not have permission from anyone to do so. Second, and as much as I hate to say this, knowing them, they are but one incident, one death, one murder. Every death is a major loss. But in the grand scheme, death happens. These things happen. We have illegals who do crime, yes, but we also have gangs who do crime. Have you ever been to Louisiana? There are gangs. There are people who just have guns illegally, who do drive-bys in neighborhoods and shoot up houses for fun. You know why? Because they felt like it. I can't... There's a lot to this, and I don't even want to get into it because it'll turn into an hour-long scolding.
Well, as a mom, I can't quit thinking about this. I mean, this could have been my daughter. This could have been yours.
Just as a fun fact, I don't have a daughter.
And tonight, President Biden finally said her name. But he refused to take responsibility for his own actions.
Because clearly Biden went out and killed this girl.
Mr. President, enough is enough. Innocent Americans are dying, and you only have yourself to blame.
I'm sorry. Wow, enough is enough. Yeah, enough is enough. And honestly, no, he doesn't. You do. You have yourself to blame. You know why? Because you follow someone blindly. A literal terrorist who commits high treason, and I don't know what people who commit treason are usually sent away, never to be seen again, or killed. Not allowed to run for office again. And that you're blindly following them and you're justifying their actions and trying to pin their actions on someone else, that is awful. You should know better. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. You are a trophy wife. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're a trophy wife. You shouldn't know better. Sorry. Sorry, bimbo.
Fulfill your oath of office. Reverse your policies. End this crisis and stop the suffering.
If he reverses policies, things get worse. How do you end suffer? And the suffering will never truly end. You can't. Human suffering is just a normal part of life. That's as grim, dark as it sounds. Suffering is part of what makes life enjoyable. The struggle. But no. If he reverses policies and undoes the stuff done at the border, things will get worse again. And that would not solve the crisis created by inaction. So, I don't know what you're talking about here.
Sadly, we know that President Biden's failures don't stop there. His reckless spending dug our economy into a hole and sent the cost of living through the roof.
Are you kidding? Oh my god. Clearly someone didn't listen to the speech he did. Cause I don't know how he would have dug the country into more debt if he's been resolving debt, fixing taxation, and trying his best to... He's literally eliminated billions of dollars of debt. Which, bear in mind, Trump's created so much debt, it's not funny. He created debt. Here's one way. He gave government money to people only for them to repay it. So here's some money. You have to pay it back. It's a loan. And none of that money probably went back to the government. Probably went to like some private fund of his. Oh boy. So what you say is complete. Everything you said is wrong. Can you say something right?
We have the worst inflation in 40 years and the highest credit card debt in our nation's history. Let that sink in.
Well, yeah, because credit card companies try to trap people and they do it successfully. Couple years ago, before I had a credit card, I bank at a credit union, which is really nice because not everyone has the ability to use a credit union. And I hear horror stories about stuff like Bank of America. But I've been sent, and even now I get sent some, but less now. I'd get sent a lot of instant pre-approved credit cards. I don't even know what instant pre-approved credit cards are, but and they had great rates, like 37, anywhere from like 37 to 62% interest. Amazing. Do not, no. If you think that's good, do not. No, never. I actually opened a prepaid credit card in order to build my credit score so that in the future I'll be able to hopefully buy land and build a house and take loans out and, be successful. But no, I'm smart enough to know not to take those credit card deals. That's why people have credit card debt, because they can't they can't build credit because those rates are absolute dog crap. I think Biden's also working to fix that, isn't he?
Hardworking families are struggling to make ends meet today. And with soaring mortgage rates and sky-high childcare costs.
Yeah. They're being taken advantage of by monopolized systems. Makes sense.
They're also struggling to have a plan for tomorrow.
Yeah. Paycheck to paycheck.
The American people are scraping by, while President Biden proudly proclaims that Bidenomics is working.
He never said Bidenomics. He never mentioned anything along the lines of Bidenomics. He stated policies that have helped America become better, less indebted, and how we're going to keep moving to reduce our debt and become better, increase the strength of the dollar. That's not Bidenomics, that's economics.
Goodness, Lord. Bless his heart. We know better.
No, you don't. You don't know better. Bless your heart.
I'll never forget stopping at a gas station in Fulton County one evening. The gentleman working the counter told me that after retiring, he had to pick up a job in his 70s so that he didn't have to choose between going hungry or going without his medication. He said, I did everything right. I did everything I was told to do. I worked hard. I saved. I was responsible. He's not alone. I hear similar concerns from fellow parents, whether I am walking with my friends or whether I'm at my kids' games. But let's be honest, it's been a minute since Joe Biden pumped gas, ran a carpool, or even pushed a grocery cart. Meanwhile, the rest of us see our dollar and we know it doesn't go as far. We see it every day. And despite what he tells you, our communities are not safer. For years, the left has coddled criminals and defunded the police.
The idea is not to defund the police, it's to remove military explosives and the absolute over militarification of the police system, and instead have police that you'd want to talk to, police that aren't corrupt, and have healthcare workers like psychiatrists, therapists, other professionals who are trained to properly help people rather than shoot them when there's a problem. I do know a lot of people are against the new police training facility in Atlanta. There are problems with it. But when it comes to police training and fire training and public safety training, this will be a state-of-the-art facility that will end up causing a lot of good in the community. Is the location great? I mean, not really. Are a lot of people mad about it? Sure. But I think in the grand scheme, it's better.
All while letting repeat offenders walk free.
Minor offenses. Misdemeanors which shouldn't ruin someone's life. Yeah, instead of putting them away for years, costing them their entire livelihood, you give them a second chance, third chance, fourth chance if need be. And there's a limit to it. But and I will say, being in Georgia, the Georgia police do not mess around. Okay, they do not mess around. So.
The result is tragic, but foreseeable. From our small towns to America's most iconic city streets, life is getting more and more dangerous. And unfortunately, President Biden's weakness isn't just hurting families here at home. He is making us a punchline on the world stage.
I don't think so. If you want to talk about a punchline, remember when Trump pulled us out of the Paris Accords, and then North Korea, of all countries, said, "You pulled out? Are you dumb?" I'm just saying, if you want to talk about punchlines and complete disgraces, imagine being called a coward and dumb by North Korea, a dictatorship. There you go.
Look, where I'm from, your word is your bond.
Where are you from? Your neighbor? Like, Alabama people don't travel far, you know.
But for 3 years, the president has demonstrated that America's word doesn't mean what it used to.
You want me to pull up the Trump video now? His response? Yeah, he's completely denying he's denying his charges. If that doesn't say I'm trustworthy, denying everything and trying to twist words and make things seem like you're what did he call himself that one time? God King or something? Yeah. If you're isn't that a false idolatry? If you're following someone who calls himself God King, you're going to hell. I'm just gonna say that.
From abandoning our allies in his disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan to desperately pushing another dangerous deal with Iran.
Oh no, the United States sells weapons to people to make money. That's something we do, by the way.
President Biden has failed. We've become a nation in retreat. And the enemies of freedom, they see an opportunity.
Wait, what? I have actually no clue. What? So, trying to looking at the United States and going, this is a problem. Let's fix it. Self-reflectation, self-reflectivity. If you look at yourself and you reflect and try and make yourself better, are you a coward? Are you regressing? Because I don't think so. I think that's called becoming a better person and progressing. And looking at the United States and going, we have problems. Let's fix them. Let's fix our debt. Let's fix our failing economy. Let's fix our failing system. That's not regression. And then enemies of freedom. See opportunity. What enemies? I don't see anyone trying to invade the United States shores. What are you talking about? Clearly.
Putin's brutal aggression in Europe has put our allies on the brink.
our allies. And I don't mean to do Ukraine dirty like this, but they're not in NATO yet, so clearly we don't see them as allies. The United States will sell weapons to them, and that's a good thing. We make money, and they can defend themselves and keep. Hopefully, they turn around, start taking Russian soil. That'd be nice.
These terrorist proxies have slaughtered Israeli, Jews, and American citizens. They've targeted commercial shipping, and they've attacked our troops nearly 200 times since October, killing 3 U.S. soldiers and 2 Navy SEALs.
It's war. You're gonna lose people. Again, I don't like the loss of life. Everything, life is precious, but oh boy, when you send people, you think pulling people out of Afghanistan is bad, and then losing people is bad. Well, if you send people to Afghanistan, you're gonna have deaths. So, I don't know what you want.
Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party is undercutting America's interests. China is buying up our farmland, spying on our military installations, and spreading propaganda through the likes of TikTok. You see,
God, the way she goes, it bothers me. That's like a villain smile coming on. Jesus Christ. Please help this person. Oh my God.
the CCP knows that if it conquers the minds of our next generation, it conquers America.
How? Again, this is gonna be this is eugenics. China's lesser than us, which we should be a better economy than them, but she's talking about the Chinese people will somehow convert us to being communists and blah blah blah. Bear in mind, Jesus was a communist. I'm just gonna, well, not communist, but he was socialist. And China's not communist. That's a I think it's a dictatorship or autocracy or whatever. Basically the same thing. That's not the point, though. Somehow, we're gonna become China by using TikTok. Sure. If you're watching this on TikTok, make sure to delete the app after you watch this, or you're a communist sympathizer. Okay. I'm watching you.
And what does President Biden do? Well, he bans TikTok for government employees, but creates an account for his own campaign. Well, you can't make this stuff up.
Oh, how horrible. Let me look at Trump's TikTok. If that's not the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. How do you campaign to the people if you're not using the modern trendy apps? If Biden were to not use TikTok, he'd be stupid. Trump is using TikTok too, so what's your point? Oh, Lord.
Look, we all recall when presidents faced national security threats with strength and resolve. That seems like ancient history. Right now, our commander-in-chief is not in command. The free world deserves.
Where is he? Is he on vacation or something?
than a dithering and diminished leader. America deserves leaders who recognize that secure borders, stable prices, safe streets, and a strong defense are actually the cornerstones of a great nation.
Oh, I'm rubbing my hands together. Well, I don't know. That bipartisan bill seems to be something that would secure the borders. Clearly, he's tackling things like inflation or shrinkflation, as us younger generations call it. Because it is, I mean, literally, we're buying less for more. What do you want us to call it? It's clearly shrinkflation. He's tackling that. Safe streets. Well, if you secure the borders and you reform police and you give people more money so they're not desperate enough to pull crimes and do drugs, and I'd say that'd make safer streets. And a strong defense. Like, do you not know the United States has like the strongest military in the world? Like, do you not know where 25% of your, well, of course you don't. Again, you're a housewife. You don't get that. You don't get paid in the traditional sense. But you don't know where 25% of American money goes. Well, income. That's just, and bear in mind, that's just the income. That's not the we spend and have extra taxes as well. That's just basic income that gets pulled away from us. Goes to the military. We have like the biggest military budget anyone's ever seen ever. The biggest military anyone's ever seen ever. The most advanced technology anyone's ever seen ever. If Putin were to launch all the nukes right now, what I think would happen, at least 50% of his nukes, 20% would detonate in the silo, 50% would crash nearby, so he'd destroy Russia, he'd kill himself trying to nuke the world, and then anything that flies anywhere near any country, especially the United States. Oh, look, we have anti-missile technology. We have ground-to-air anti-air devices that would easily stop anything if it got close. So that's not a threat. I don't know what you're talking about with strong defense being a problem. And again, who's attacking us? I don't see anyone. Who's attacking the American shores? Yes.
Here's the good news. We, the people, are still in the driver's seat. We get to decide whether our future will grow brighter or whether we'll settle for a greener and
We're not in the driver's seat. That would be the officials who are paid by big oil, big pharma, big chicken, big, like, come on. Again, bribery. The monopolies own America. What are we gonna say?
I know which choice our children deserve. representative party of hard-working parents and families. And we want to give you and your children the opportunity.
You and your. So, she's better than us. Clearly, I'm not even human anymore. I'm sorry. I'm not human anymore. I'm subhuman. Oh no. I'm less than.
We want families to grow. It's why we strongly support continued nationwide access to in vitro fertilization.
Okay. Here's a good question. Let's say an illegal came in, impregnated you non-consensually. Would you conceive that child? What would you do?
We will put loving moms and dads and precious life into this world. Leslie and I believe.
Again, precious life. If you were taken advantage of by something less than human and had to have something less than human born, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do that? Just a scenario. It happens. It might not happen to you, but it happens sometimes.
And that's why I came.
God, she's so quiet. Hang on, I'm gonna turn her up. She went from being decent volume to mute.
I want to make a direct appeal to the parents out there, and in particular to my fellow moms, many of whom I know will be up, tossing and turning at 2 a.m., wondering how you're going to be in 3 places at once, and then somehow still get dinner on the table.
Why? Why would you be worried? Where's the dad? Is he not around to help you? Did he leave you? Are you a single mom? Did you make poor decisions earlier in life? What's the deal? The dad should be just as much of a parental figure and there for their kids as you are in this modern day and age. I don't know what you're talking about. Wondering, that's called bad parenting if the dad's not there. I mean, although for her traditional views, yeah, she's responsible for taking care of her kids solely.
I know you're probably disgusted by most of what you see going on in Washington, and I'll be really honest with you, you're not wrong for feeling that way. Look, I get it. The task in front of us isn't an easy one, but I can promise you one thing. It is worth it.
Promise that what's worth it? What's worth it? Slaving away under companies that don't care? That doesn't sound worth it at all. That sounds like slavery. That sounds like indentured servitude. I don't know what you're talking about. It is worth it. What are you talking about? It is worth it. Hello? Not worth it.
So I am asking you for the sake of your kids and your grandkids, get into the arena. Every generation has been called to do hard things. American greatness rests in the fact that we always answered that call. It's for you. Never forget, we are steeped in the blood of patriots who overthrew the most powerful empire in the world. We walk in the footsteps of pioneers who tamed the wild.
And you haven't worked a real job in your life. Your point? Yeah. The people back then, though, didn't have stuff like Walmart and the internet and cars and the easy conveniences of life that we do now. You think we're gonna just get up and... No. That's not how this works. This is a different... You yourself said that those people are way back ancient history. So don't act as if we're like ancient history. Come on. Are you serious?
We now carry forward the same flame of freedom as the liberators of an oppressed Europe. We continue to draw courage from those who bent the moral arc of the universe. And when we gaze upon the heavens, never forget that our DNA contains the same ingenuity that put man on man. America has been tested before, and every single time we've emerged unbowed and unbroken.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but if ever since World War II, we've kind of gotten our butts kicked. We haven't won any conflict since World War II. Examples include like Vietnam and Korea. You got the North Korea for a reason. You have Vietnam's communists. They didn't want us there in the first place. Why we even went, I don't know. No one really knows. And our soldiers were not thanked for it.
Our history has been written with the grit of men and women who got knocked down. But we know their stories because they did not stay down.
Unless they died. A lot of people died, fighting for freedoms. And it's their sacrifices that make the reason we are here today as we are. So they went down and they didn't get back up, and that's an ultimate sacrifice, and I thank them for their service. They are heroes.
We are here because they stood back up.
We're here because they didn't get back up.
So now it's our turn, our moment to stand up and prove ourselves worthy of protecting the American dream. Together, we can reawaken the heroic spirit of a proud nation.
That's kind of gone. You can only go forward. Can't go back.
America, we don't just have a rendezvous with destiny. We take destiny's hand and we lead it. Our future starts around kitchen tables, just like this.
Yep, giving our telling our children eugenics and racism so that it lives on. That's how we continue keeping America great. By keeping the flame of eugenics and the flame of racism and the flame of suppression and hate and bigotry alive at our kitchen tables, as a lot of people do.
With moms and dads, just like you. And you are why I believe with every fiber of my being that despite the current state of our union, our best days are still ahead.
This is why a lot of people don't want kids. Because they're afraid their kids will grow up to be like this. And they're afraid their kids won't have a chance because of people like this.
May God bless you, and may God continue to bless these United States of America.
Oh, Lord. My message to her: bless your heart, you dumb bimbo. Stay in the kitchen and make your husband sandwich, and shut up before he backhands you. That'll do it for this video. Oh, God. Somebody.